Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. Today is the 1st of August, or August the 1st, 2022. I want to talk about two topics. I was going to do it separately, but I said, I just might as well get them both together. I want to first start off with Kyler Murray, and then I'm going to get into the Deshawn Watson ruling. And I'm going to start off with the Kyler Murray, get the easy one out the way first, the one that I have less to say on first. Now, Kyler Murray recently just signed a new contract, or an extension, should I say, with the Arizona Cardinals for just a little bit more money than what Deshawn Watson is getting, but it is what it is. But that's not what I care about. Here's what I do care about. Arizona is a low-class organization. And I'm talking about the Arizona Cardinals. They're a low-class organization. And if I'm Kyler Murray, I want out. Tell them to take their new contract and shove it, or their extension and shove it. That you're willing to play that you don't want to play for them no more. And I'm usually not a proponent of that, but this is one of those exceptions. Then you would say, well, Jermaine, why would you do something like that? It's real simple. How dare you put in an addendum, an amendment, in an addendum, should I say, that he has to do 4 hours or some hours of study in order to get this money or something like that. You know, that's insulting. First of all, because it's been reported that has never happened before. But whether it has or hasn't, it has never been leaked before that a player had to do such a thing just to get their money. And it hinted at laziness and something that if you watch Kyler Murray's game in Arizona and Kyler Murray has gotten better win total each and every year. The team has gotten better. That doesn't look like somebody who's not putting in the work all the time. But that's neither here nor there. But because, see, they tried to embarrass Kyler Murray because all summer it was very contentious, really all off season. This off season, it was very contentious between the two. So they tried to embarrass Kyler Murray by putting in that addendum, and they're putting it out to the public because they leaked it to the public. Because why? That's not part of the standard contract. So whatever's not part of the standard contract, that means somebody has to leak it. And it would make no sense for Kyler Murray's side to leak that because it's an embarrassment to Kyler Murray. So the Arizona Cardinals tried to embarrass him. They ultimately ended up embarrassing themselves. And so if I'm Kyler Murray, I don't want to be here anymore. You know, what you did there was low class. And if I was Kyler Murray, I'm not playing another down for you. Even if it means me giving back some money, I'm not playing another down for you. So you're going to have to trade me or release me. Find another quarterback. Since I don't do enough study. Since you want to insult me like that. Now, this past Thursday, Arizona removed the addendum, which they should have never put in to begin with. But if he wasn't putting in the study, why would you remove the addendum? Why would you remove it? You should have kept it. So that told you that was BS all along. Okay? That was nonsense all along. And so for Arizona to do that, low-class organization, goodbye. If I'm Kyler Murray, goodbye. Now, that brings me to the Deshawn Watson ruling. We finally get the decision from the Judge Sue L. Robinson. Now she was put in place by both the Players Association, as well as, the Players Union, as well as the NFL, as an independent, and that's the key word, independent arbitrator or independent judge to decide suspensions. Now, this is the first case that she's going to be deciding, or that she has decided. And now, because she came out with a ruling that some people don't like, they want the NFL, which the NFL technically has the right to do, is to overrule her. And that would be politically and PR-wise disastrous for the NFL to do. They're not going to do it. So don't look for the NFL to overrule it. Well, what she basically ruled was that Deshawn Watson is going to be suspended, or she recommended he be suspended for 6 games. That was her decision. I thought it was a little over the top. I would have preferred. I thought 2-4 was more fairer, but you know what? This was a fair decision. This was a fair decision. You can't argue this decision, because the reality is this: he's paying for making dumb decisions, and in her statement, she basically said that what he did was nonviolent, not criminal. It was egregious. It was dumb, and now she got to treat him like a child by saying that you're no longer allowed to go to a massage therapist outside of the team, that you can only get massage therapists by the team. Come on, come on. But you deserve that, because you shouldn't have put yourself in this position to begin with, and that's what this ruling is saying. Okay? Now, here's why it would be politically disastrous for the NFL to do this, to overrule her decision. You're going to overrule a woman who came with a fair ruling. Okay, and explain why she gave the 6 games. Well, then now you got to explain if you overrule her and try to add more games, Deshawn Watson and the Players Association is going to sue, which means it's going to go back and forth in front of a federal judge. And then you're going to have to explain to that federal judge why her ruling was not just. Good luck in winning that if you're the NFL. Secondly, you got to explain, well then, because the NFL Players Union is going to properly say, well, wait a minute. You want to give Deshaun Watson more games, but yet when it came to these owners, you didn't do anything. And though some people try to tell you, oh, that's not part of the CBA, I disagree, and here's why. Because it is part of their bylaws that owners will be held to a higher standard. So whether it's part of the CBA or not is irrelevant. According to their bylaws, which they have failed to adhere to. So if they're not adhering to their bylaws, how are they going to adhere to the CBA agreement? Think about it. If they can't even adhere to their own bylaws, how are they going to honor the CBA agreement? Their bylaws stated that owners and club personnel will be held to a higher standard than the players. So obviously you haven't been doing that. So now you're going to have to explain to a federal judge why that's the case. Which means now you got to open up the books, which the NFL don't want to do. So don't look for the NFL to overrule Surel Robinson. What they're going to do is come out in a day or so and say, though we are disappointed in this ruling, we will stand by it because why? It was independently arbitrated, which is what everybody wanted. And so look for them to come out with that ruling. Or that statement, should I say. And they're gonna run with it that way. Now, what does this mean for Deshaun Watson moving forward? He's got a bullseye on him. But you can't worry about that. You go out, you play your game. I mean, you serve your suspension, and then you just gotta go out and play well. Okay? You don't owe anybody an explanation as far as what happened in those massage parlors, because again, nobody's gonna believe you anyway, or those who are against you are not gonna believe you anyway. So does it really matter? Now you do, in my opinion, you're gonna have to sit down and you're gonna have to talk about certain things, but you don't have to go into no full details, and I would not. Okay, and eventually this will blow over, like Ben Roethlisberger blew over. Like Ezekiel Elliott and every other case blew over, where there was some form of sexual misconduct, accusations and stuff like that. And even this eventually is going to blow over too. You just got, right now is Raw and people are in their feelings. And now what people want Roger Goodell to do is bring down a heavy hand. And Goodell's not going to do that. Because Goodell and them don't want this fight longer than anyone else. And so now you got others who say, and Stephen A. Smith being one of them, well, why did you only present 5? You know why the NFL only presented 5 instead of the 24? Because those were the 5 most credible so-called accusations against Deshaun, which means they're telling you in a roundabout way that one of 2 things. Number 1, they couldn't get the other people to cooperate with them. So then if you don't cooperate with me, I can't bring you in front of the judge, which means you're useless. Or number 2, the cases weren't strong enough, or convincing enough to say, you know what, let me bring this in front of the judge. So they brought the 5 that they thought was going to put Deshawn in the worst light possible. And it turned out the judge said no, that there was nothing criminal. Just what he did was egregious, which means poor taste, which means that, hey, you went over the top unnecessarily with what he was doing, and you just keep it moving. And he would be smart to now follow the ruling, which means don't get any more massages outside of the team facilities or club approved team facility or team massages. The club has to approve it. That means you can no longer be going on the internet looking for no. Because I think that's what he was doing. He was using the internet as a hookup and massages as a way of hooking up with these women. That's what he was doing. It is what it is. It is what it is. And that's basically what the judge was saying. And so I look for, and to me, again, it was a fair ruling. I thought a little over the top as far as the number of games, but it was fair. Even if she would have gave him 8 games, I would have considered it fair. Because I was looking more at the 2 to 4, just for being idiotic. Putting yourself in a position where I even have to make this ruling, so I'm going to give you 2 to 4 games. Even though he felt he didn't do anything wrong, it doesn't matter. The problem is the women felt you did them wrong. And that's what matters, unfortunately. And since there was a lot of them, everybody's looking, it was 24. Folks, it's not 24, it's 5. Because that's what she had to judge off of. Okay? So the others did not matter because they did not go before the judge. Only the 5 did. So if you got an issue, ask the NFL why they only did 5. But I suspect I know the reason why they only put 5 in front of the judge. And one of them got kicked out, so it was really 4. I understand why. I want to thank you for watching another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. Have a nice evening.